Hey friends, thank you all so much for coming and hanging out with me today. I hope this video finds you all well. If this is your first time stopping by my channel, hi there, my name is JoJo, and this channel shares with you our family's journey through budgeting and to financial freedom. If that's something that you're interested in following along with and you're not yet subscribed, then please consider subscribing. For today's video, I'm going to be doing my week 6 check-in for paycheck number 3. We're going to be closing out January. It was a magic month for us. We got 3 paychecks. My husband and I are both paid bi-weekly and on the same week. And we are zero-based paycheck to paycheck budgeters. So whatever money we have left over, the job that it's currently assigned is to pay off debt. And with this being a magic month, we had 2 paychecks that we zeroed out to pay off debt, which was super exciting. I did my week 5 check-in last week. I'll leave that video and an information card up here if you want to go check it out. But otherwise, we're going to start here with the variable expenses and get right to it. Okay, so here we are zoomed in. I'm going to be sliding this sheet up. I like to have you guys nice and zoomed in so you can see all the nitty-gritty details, but it does make it to where not everything can always be in frame. But we're focused on week 6 down here, so I'm just going to write that this is still for paycheck number 3, and the dates of the transactions we're looking at are from February 4th to the 10th. And again, this is for week 6. And these are all of our variable expenses. I use this transaction log over here to help me figure out what category money was spent in, what money is coming in. And I fill this out twice a week. This has been a game changer for us, you guys. We are new to budgeting. I would say we started dabbling in budgeting September of 2019 and really working the current budget system we're on February of last year. And these sheets are ones that I ended up creating to suit my needs, the way my brain works, what I wanted out of my budget. I do have them available on my Etsy shop that's linked in the description box below if you like the look of them and you feel like it would be a system that would work well for you as well. But what I do, I always like to start out with an example for you guys because I keep track of this remaining amount over here of how much is remaining from what I had budgeted for each category. Because when I come to do my weekly check-in, if I have to add together multiple numbers within this grocery category, which usually there's like 3 to 4 grocery purchases per week that we'll make, I am so bad about typing numbers into a calculator. I don't know what it is, but my fingers have a mind of their own. So to set myself up for success, I keep track of this remaining amount, and it just leaves me with fewer numbers to type into the calculator. So how that looks is, I know that I budget, if we come here to groceries, the last time I made a grocery purchase was at Costco on the 8th, and I spent $172.24. And of the $400 that we budget for 2 weeks, I was under budget. That's what this plus sign means to me. I was under budget by $10.06. So I subtract that from the $400. This tells me how much we spent in 2 weeks, but since this is week number 6, if I want to figure out how much I spent during week 6, I need to subtract what I spent during week 5 on groceries. But this number is what I'm going to put into my paycheck budget sheet that accounts for the 2 weeks worth of variable expenses. So I'll just take away the $217.70, and that tells me that for groceries in week 6, I had spent $172.24. And then I have that $10.06 remaining still. Next, we'll move down here to eating out. And I'm just going to let you guys know now, we had a lot of over budget purchases in our categories. So eating out, the kids had been out of school for almost an entire week because we had 2 major blizzards. So I had kind of slacked off on a couple meals. We were out running about, doing a lot of sledding. And then of course, Super Bowl Sunday, we'd gotten some chicken wings from Wingstop. And all of that just kind of busted our eating out and entertainment budget. We did also, with the kids being home, buy a game. We like to have a movie night and a game night as a family, and we purchased a family game as well. So it was money well spent, but it busted our budget. Next is household and pets. And this one, not to be left out, was also over budget for this paycheck. We'd transitioned our fish tank to a predator tank. We'd lost a couple of fish because of their predators. We ended up having to rehome one because he was being too naughty. But I do want to let you guys know it was our Jack Dempsey fish. He is doing well in his new home. And our 2 new Oscars, they are also doing very well. So that cost a lot of money. And then my husband had also purchased some new things for the fish tank: filters, sand, things like that. And we have 2 elderly dogs that are on medications. We also have a bearded dragon that we purchase food and supplies for. So our pets are very near and dear to us, and it just comes with the territory, you know, of having pets and taking proper care of them. Next was gas. I don't know why we were so over budget in this category. I do have a theory. I think that my husband and I don't work any of the same days. We made our schedule because we do have some younger kids. We're a family of 5, and we have younger kids at home as well. And one of them is in daycare, but we decided to allow him to socialize and to kind of get some learning outside of the home, do 2 days a week in daycare, but we're actually off. He doesn't have to go to daycare. So we weren't very consistent with taking him to daycare, and his daycare is quite a ways in town. For any of you parents who have kids in daycare, when you find a good daycare, you will pretty much travel anywhere, pay any price to keep your kids in that daycare. And childcare in our area is really hard too. Our area had just kind of exploded the last 2 years. So you are on like a year waiting list to get into anywhere new. We're not planning on going anywhere new, but that's just kind of our daycare situation. But I think that him traveling back and forth more and me traveling back and forth more to take him to daycare has increased this gas price. That's something that's not going to change. I'm going to leave our gas budget the same and just kind of monitor this and see if I need to bump up that budget or not, to see if my theory is right. Next was my husband. Oh man, you guys, like again, he didn't spend much this week. It was last week. The kids were out. My husband is a sucker for taking my kids to the gas station for treats. So they went to the gas station, to the Family Dollar that's by where we live, a lot more than they normally would. And he also had needed some new shoes. So he was overall over budget by $34.57. I had spent $10 this week. That was as a tip for my haircut. If you've been following me for some time, you know around November, December last year, I took advantage of the great clips deal they have where you can load a gift card with haircuts for $11. You can load up to 22 haircuts on that gift card. That's a part of their kind of Black Friday deal that they have. But so I was able to go get my hair trimmed. I don't really do anything with my hair, just trim it. But I'd like to give a nice tip, you know, because if they're working hard in there, they definitely need the money more than we do. And so that was all for a tip for my hair. But the other thing I was under budget overall by $70. That was the only money that I had spent. But what I do is I zero this out. So I'm just gonna write a slash and put 80 as total spent, because when you add all these together, I'm adding 80, not $10. And this 70, I'm gonna zero that out, and that money's gonna go into a sinking fund that accumulates for whatever I wanna use it for. Next is my youngest, or my oldest. He did not spend anything, but he was still over by $5 from last week. My daughter, she had spent $5.74 or more. This was us purchasing treats at the gas station at Walmart. This was with me at Walmart, and then also getting her something on her Roblox game that she likes to play. That was as a reward for her doing so well in school. And then that ended up putting her over by $5.36. And then my youngest, this was all just a treat at Walmart, you guys. I thought this was so funny, so I want to share it with you. But we're just at the checkout. I told the kids that they could get a treat because they'd done well. They'd been really good that day. And he grabs a bag of jerky. I was like, that's what you want, buddy? You want a bag of jerky? And he was like, yeah, that's what he wanted. And I was like, yeah, you are totally your dad's kid right now. So I just thought that was pretty funny. But that ended up being over for him by $3.98. And we are doing awesome with no unbudgeted. So when you add all of these together, that comes to, adding the 80, that comes to $411.62. And that puts us over by $173.28 for variable expenses. Okay, that's all of my yellow boxes. Now we'll move over to the paycheck budget sheet and reconcile the rest of these transactions. Here we are at my paycheck budget sheet. This is where all the information about our finances is housed, with income, fixed expenses, variable expenses, sinking fund transactions, debt. Everything is in this one-stop shop. We start here at the top with this income table, and on my transaction log, I track that with green, but there were not any green boxes for this week. And since we are closing this paycheck out, what we will do is add together this income. And so we have $28.97.16 plus $11.17.25. And that was more than we were expecting. So it will be written in this blue pen. It was $4,014.41. Next, we'll move over here to the fixed expenses. These are all of my bills, and those are tracked by the pink boxes. The first one that we have is student loan. This is the last student loan that I have. It is $543.40 that I pay. It is a refinance, so it's not a part of the CARES Act. It's still been accumulating interest, all that good stuff. Next was HP Inc. That was under budget, and it came in at $2.17. Okay. Then we'll pull in this transaction log. The gym, it had come out as expected at $75. And security, that was its usual $9.99. Hulu, $64.99. Disney Plus, $6.99. Okay. So everything was right on budget except for HP Inc. That had come in under budget. So when you add all of these together, it equals $2,490.75. Now we'll come over here to our variable expenses. For groceries, we did end up being under budget. It was $389.94. Everybody else is going to be in red. Next was eating out. We spent $170.86. Household and pets, $140.69. Gas was a whopping $197.88. My husband was $114.57. And then for me, I'm gonna be right on budget at 80. My oldest was 25. My daughter was 25.36. My youngest was 23.98. And then unbudgeted, hallelujah, we did not have anything. But overall, we had spent $1,168.28 on variable expenses. Whew. Okay. Now we'll come down here to the sinking funds table. And for my sinking funds, this is where I track all money flowing into each category or coming out. If it's coming out, the subtracting, I have it in parentheses. And on my transaction log, what it looks like is these blue boxes. I had multiple for holiday because of Valentine's Day. I'd been gathering things. My two younger kids, my one that's in daycare, had treats that they could bring my daughter. We put together some little Valentine's goodie bags and got some cards for her friend or for her class. And then each of the kids, my three kids, I put together a little basket for them. So that's where holiday had come in. I had added those together already. So for holiday, what we spent total was $101.21. Next was our timeshare, and this I consider more as a clubhouse membership because it is attached to a timeshare, but there's also a local clubhouse with beach access that we have. We live next to a very touristy beach area, and as a local, it's just very hard to find beach access during peak season. And so we have that yearly HOA fee for them. That's a part of my sinking funds. Next was clothes. And for clothes, we had spent $52.73. Whoops. So I will just check that off. Again, I have three kids, a teenager, 7-year-old, and a 4-year-old. So they just are growing all at different times all the time. Then the next one was pets. My husband, I just made the executive decision to pull this purchase from Pets. This was for a new filter. And I was like, our pets and household variable expenses has been hit hard enough. We're just going to pull some money from our pet sinking fund, which I've been building that up for some end of life planning for our older dogs. And then it's also intended for any new pets, which I did not dip into it when we bought the new fish. So that's kind of, I guess, how I justified that. Next was, let's see. Oh, I didn't put the gaming one on here. Let me write that down. So we have, my husband has a PlayStation. My oldest has an Xbox. And there's different subscriptions associated with those. So the Xbox Live yearly subscription had come out. I think it's quarterly actually, but I do have a gaming sinking fund to cover that. All right, this is where I need to talk to you guys about what I ended up doing with debt. So let's come down here. Okay, guys, so I'm gonna try to be as succinct as possible with this explanation, but for those of you who have been following me, you're aware we've been using this velocity banking strategy to pay off this last student loan. And I have a whole series on velocity banking. We're kind of more unconventional YouTube budgeters. We're cashless. I use this non-standard form of paying off debt. So I'm just going to kind of say that out there, but this student loan, it was a refinance 2 years ago for about almost $69,000. I guess it's almost 2.5 years ago now. And I have been chunking away. I'll bring in this is my paycheck 2 budget sheet. This is kind of where our numbers had ended. So when you see student loan 2 in the HELOC, these two are really linked together. Don't pay attention to this. That's just a little note to myself. But it was about $45,000 total that I still owe on that student loan that was $68,000 from about 2 years ago. It has a 4.75% interest rate. The HELOC is a variable interest rate, and I pay $543 every month to that student loan. What I had decided to do was I'd been building up the student loan sinking fund to lump that together and with my HELOC and pay this off. So that is what I did yesterday. I just want to tell you guys, this payment had already cleared for February, but it's now going to be the set minimum monthly payment for the HELOC, which that is usually due on the 16th. And we're also paying off 2 cell phones this month, and they're $66.66. So when you add those two together, it's $610.06. But the new set monthly payment for the HELOC is going to be $610 around the 16th. That's what you'll see on my paycheck budget sheets. But now what I had done, so let's first figure out how much is being added to this student loan sinking fund, and then we'll talk about how much is going to be taken away. And I had pulled some money from the car as well, the car sinking fund, just to make this nice and even. So what we'll do to figure out how much we are throwing into that student loan sinking fund is we're going to take $4,014.41. So that's this cash flow equation we're doing right now. And subtract $24.90.75, subtract our variable expenses, and that leaves us with, let's see, and we were less than what we'd expected because we busted our budget so bad there, but it was $355.38. That is what's going to be added to this sinking fund. So it's not going to have parentheses, but that makes this sinking fund now be, and what I pulled from it was $1,871.09. Then in order, I'm going to be doing my velocity banking monthly check-in video tomorrow and showing you guys, but I wanted to have an even number that I was pulling from the HELOC, and it's $42,000 because I still owed the $5,800, this $5,800.02, and then I was pulling additional money, you know, using this to pay this down some, but I didn't want to have all this change to worry about. I wanted it to be an even $42,000. So from my car fund, we had pulled $841.61 to make up that difference. So that's where that's going to be tracked. Now coming down here to this debt table, what I'm going to do is put my ending balance on the HELOC is now $42,000. Student loan number 2 is now 0. Our cell phones, they were not being paid off during this fixed expenses. That's going to come next week or the next 2 weeks, but they're still at $391.62. So what our current debt is, it's at $42,391.62. And this $42,000, this velocity banking strategy is all about saving money on interest. I'm sorry, it's probably really hard to follow me if you're just hopping in now, but we house all of our money, our sinking funds, our savings, everything, some of our checking in this HELOC to hold that principal balance down, what the bank sees to charge interest on, for as long as possible. It's an interest saving strategy. You guys, the biggest motivation for me on this journey, because paying off debt is hard, but the biggest motivation has been seeing how much money I've been losing in interest. So I'm just gonna tell you guys now, I paid this payment, this $543.40 this month on the 4th. It came out on the 4th. When I went to pay this off, which was on the 10th, so 6 days later, they'd already tacked on $25.30 of interest in 10 days. I was just like, and that just kind of solidified. So it's like $2.50 every day that I was being charged interest to keep that loan with them. And they texted me today too to kind of try to draw me back in. I was like, no, I'm good. Thank you. We are done doing business with one another. So that it's just such a lightning feeling. I have a lot more control over this, the interest that I'm being charged. And I feel like we're going to accelerate our debt payoff and also be able to invest so we can focus more on that net worth number with assets and liabilities, more so than just the debt, because it's more than just debt that gets you to financial freedom. But that is what our January closeout, some big moves that were made with our budget, with our debt payoff. But I'm really excited moving forward. If you guys have stuck around for this long, thank you so much. If you enjoyed watching, please give it a thumbs up, and I will see you guys tomorrow where I show you what our velocity banking accounts and tracking looks like if you want to see more about that. I'll see you guys tomorrow.